Welcome to One Bills Lite, the nitro-infused version of One Bills Live, where we get you all the Bills knowledge and entertainment we can cram into 30 or 40 minutes. This week, the numbers game challenges Steve with the highest scoring teams meeting up in the Super Bowl. Adam Schein from Schein on Sports on Sirius XM Mad Dog Radio dishes up his AFC title game thoughts. And our one burning question asks, who makes a game-changing play for the Bills in the AFC title game? Time to kick it off!
Tasker, touchdown, Buffalo. And it's Steve Tasker who has been all over the field.
Kind of unique. He was kind of a dual-role player for you. Steve! A balloon. Steve! A blimp? We're not even in the stratosphere of normalcy here. Welcome to One Bills Lite, where we provide Bills knowledge, history, entertainment, just about everything but snacks. Chris Brown, Steve Tasker with you, as we are available on all your podcast platforms and on YouTube if you want to watch us as well as listen to us. Thanks for subscribing. Steve, here we are. Conference Championship weekend. You were fortunate enough to play in 5 of these in your career. What is the first one like? Because you were only a third or fourth year player, like a lot of the Bills are this time around.
Right. Yeah. It's you
1988.
Yeah. You don't even wrap your mind around what it means, Super Bowl and all that. That's all. You're really trying to think about this game, and the key is playing as good as you can play and being alert for things that are unexpected. You got to go out there with a mindset that you just play your game, do what you do, keep your antennae up to look for opportunities and also for trickery, that kind of thing. I was a special teams guy, so you had to keep your mind around all that. And just know that you're good enough to win if you play well. And just concentrate on playing free and easy and doing your job.
That game was on the road in Cincinnati. You were a 12-4 football team in the regular season. Did weather play a factor in that game?
It was
Refresh
cold,
my memory.
it was cold, but no,
Okay.
it was not a factor in that game. I'll say this: there are still things I think about from that game. I regret not taking a timeout at a certain point. The Bengals were in our end. This is back in the old days. Nobody went for it on fourth down.
But they were running some hurry up at that point in time, right? Sam Weish and
they were going to punt. They bring
Esiason.
their punter out on the field. They're going to punt the ball away. It's going to be a short punt because they're kind of on our side of the 50. And the punt team breaks the huddle. They come out, and I'm standing there on the side going to rush the punt. And I look up, and the right tackle on their punt team is Anthony Munoz.
Oh. He's not usually out there, right?
He's a Hall of Fame left tackle. Something's up.
Yeah.
And I stood up and I said, hey, look at that. Right then, I should have said, timeout. Because, they went for it, and actually we had it snapped off, and Rob Riddick hit the guy in the backfield and just couldn't make the tackle, and the guy lunged for a half a yard or whatever and got the first down. I should have taken a time. I still think about that. What
did Bruce say when you got to the sidelines after that?
Afterwards, he goes, "Nah, I don't know." He goes, "We should have had it snapped off. We had it.
Yeah, we had it.
We had it coached up. But I still regret it.
Tough one for sure. What was it? 21-10? Was that the final?
Yeah, Jim threw a pick late that would have got us real close to being back into it.
Yeah,
and not that was Jim's fault. I'm just saying, that's what took us out of it and got us.
Hey, another quarterback. Leave it to him.
Yeah, it's all Jim's fault. Forget me not taking a timeout in an obvious situation.
Yeah. All right, enough of the nostalgia. Time for our favorite part of the show, the numbers game.
All right.
Where we put Steve to the test. This week's numbers game deals with the highest scoring teams in football. Steve, each of the 4 teams in action this weekend, Conference Championship weekend, averaged at least 29 points per game in the regular season, making it the first time in the Super Bowl era that all 4 teams in the Conference Championship games averaged at least 29 points a game. Green Bay, 31.8, Buffalo, 31.3, Tampa, 30.8, 3 highest scoring teams in the league this season. Kansas City, of all teams, is falling behind.
Right.
6th in the league at a mere 29.8 points per game. So, with victories by the Packers and Bills on Sunday, Steve, the Super Bowl would feature the 2 highest scoring teams from the regular season for the 5th time since 1970 and the first time since 1997. So, Steve, the challenge we put to you today, can you name the 4 other Super Bowl matchups that featured the 2 highest scoring teams in the league? And I will begin with a hint. Okay, I'm charitable. I'm feeling charitable today. One of those matchups was in the 80s. The other three all in the 90s. So this figures to be like right in your wheelhouse here.
Right, I got a shot at it, right? So it's four games you're asking, but this one is the fifth, right?
Four
that you're
previous
saying?
Super Bowls
Okay.
that featured the two highest scoring teams in
Here
the
it
league
is.
against one another.
Here it is. Bills Cowboys.
That is incorrect. It is not Bills Cowboys.
I will say Niners Bengals.
Not Niners Bengals.
Niners Broncos.
I'm going to help you and tell you the 49ers are in this,
I
but
know.
not the Broncos.
All right, not the Broncos. I'll say Niners, Broncos, Niners. Who did the Niners play in the Super Bowls? The Bengals, the Broncos. Is Buffalo in it?
They
It's
are
Washington. Buffalo, Washington.
Buffalo, Washington. Very
Yeah,
good. That is
okay.
number one. 1991, Super Bowl 26
All
is
right,
on this
so
list. Yes.
The other three, there's two more in the 90s, right? Let's say Green Bay, Denver.
Not Green Bay, Denver. Oh, yes, Green Bay, Denver. Sorry, 1997. Yes.
Okay. Green
Sorry.
Bay, Denver, Washington, Buffalo. I'll
Got
say
two left.
San Francisco, San Diego.
Nope. Not San Francisco, San Diego.
San Francisco. It is San Francisco,
Yes,
right?
you'll eventually get.
I can't remember who else they played. I'm totally lost.
So let's think about their Super Bowl titles.
So I got two of them, right? I got
Right.
two more.
81 and 84, they were in the Super Bowl.
81.
88, 89,
81 was the Bengals,
and it's not them.
right? 84 was somebody else.
That's right.
I can't remember.
Well, you need to get this correct.
It wasn't Denver.
It wasn't Denver.
It's got to be.
So 84, who did they beat in the Super Bowl? Super Bowl 19.
Pittsburgh.
Not Pittsburgh.
They didn't play Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl.
No.
Who would it be? It's not San Diego.
This AFC team
I
got
know.
their.
I can't even run through that list of AFC teams in my head now.
Yeah.
Let me get to this. I will say.
You should know this, but
I'm going to say. All right. It's going to be San Francisco against
they beat the
New
Bengals.
England.
It is not New
They
England.
didn't play New England.
New England played
Shut
the
up,
Bears in the
fool.
Super Bowl.
Oakland.
It is not Oakland. It's the team the next year that made the Super Bowl for the AFC. They had a young quarterback who took the league by storm.
Miami.
Miami. Very good. 1984.
That's right.
Marino against Montana. So you have one left, Steve. And
All right.
this is in the 90s. And you know it's before 1997 because that's when the cutoff was. Because the last time two teams that were the highest scoring teams in the league faced each other in the Super Bowl was 97, Denver, Green Bay. So it has to be before that.
It wasn't Buffalo, New York Giants. I know that.
It was not.
Buffalo, Washington was one of them, and it wasn't Buffalo, Dallas. I already asked that.
Wasn't
So it
Buffalo, Dallas.
It's not San Diego.
So you're running out of
San
90s years here.
Francisco. It was not the San Diego, San Francisco one. It might have been, and it was, and I already guessed Denver,
Yep,
Green
Denver,
Bay
Green
was
Bay
one of them.
was 97.
Who was the other team that Denver beat? Denver beat.
That would be 98, though. That's too late. You have to go back, not forward, from that Denver Green Bay game.
Who was in there, man? Oh, Tennessee, St. Louis. No, that
Not
was
Tennessee,
99.
St. Louis. That was 99. Too late. So you have to be somewhere between Super Bowl 26, Buffalo, Washington, and Super Bowl 32, Denver, Green Bay. It's somewhere in between there.
Pittsburgh, Arizona.
Not Pittsburgh, Arizona. That was 2009.
I was only missed by a decade.
So I will give you
It was in the 90s, though.
Yes. So I will
Golly.
give you a hint. Okay? It's one of these teams that you have already mentioned.
All right.
Okay?
I will say Oakland, Philly.
not Oakland Phillies. The one team that you already mentioned who is in this other matchup is Green Bay. So you mentioned Green Bay and Denver in 97. Green Bay, New England, 1996. Very good. All right, you got him.
Man, that
with a little help.
That gave me a headache.
Okay, so number 2,
All right.
Steve, in the numbers game, okay? Our second part deals with passing touchdowns in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes has 14 passing touchdowns in his first 6 playoff games, which is tied for most in league history in a quarterback's first 6 playoff games. Okay? He needs 3 passing touchdowns Sunday to pass Matt Ryan for most passing touchdowns in a player's first 7 playoff games. So I need, Steve, the list of quarterbacks after Mahomes, first 6 playoff games, most touchdown passes in league history. Mahomes at the top of the list with 14, and I will give you a hint. There is one guy that is tied with him at 14. First 6 playoff games.
Dan Marino?
It is not.
He's not on the list.
Dan Marino. He is not in the top 4. He's probably on the list.
Montana.
Montana has 13, correct. First 6 playoff games.
Bradshaw.
Not Bradshaw. He had 12, I want to say.
Staubach.
Not Staubach. I would go more modern.
Favre.
Not
Favre.
Not Brett Favre. Not in the
Favre.
top 4.
Wow. More
So
Jim.
Not Jim. Most passing touchdowns in a quarterback's first 6 career playoff games.
Who killed it with a Brady?
Not Brady. I was shocked.
Elway.
Elway is not on the list.
Good grief.
More recent. More
recent?
Yes.
Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner. Tied with Mahomes, 14 in
Right.
his first 6 playoff games. You got to think about guys that
Yeah,
got in the
yeah,
playoffs and they took it by storm. And,
Right.
and Warner was one of those.
Warner
He was the
one of those
MVP
guys.
that year.
All right, so I got, is that it? Or I got
You
one
got
other?
one guy left.
All right, here we go. Kurt Warner, and I'll say.
And I'll give you a hint. He's still playing.
I'll say Breeze.
It is not Drew Brees.
Roethlisberger.
Not Big Ben.
God, the buzzer gets me. Still. If it turned, no, it can't be him. Because
Still playing
listen,
football.
Phillip Rivers is not still playing.
Not
He
Phillip
retired.
Rivers.
Okay.
First 6 playoff games just started gripping and ripping.
I'm going to say. Still playing. I will say.
Because you need a guy.
Rodgers.
It is Aaron Rodgers. Yes. 13 touchdown passes in his first 6 playoff games. Good job. You sweated it out a little bit, but you got there.
Should have been easier.
Good job, Steve. So that'll do it for the numbers game. We've put Steve through enough torture. Time now, though, for our interview with Schein on Sports, Adam Schein. Pleased to be joined now by the man who does Schein on Sports on Sirius XM Mad Dog Radio, the man who was on the hype train before it was hyped for the Buffalo Bills. It is one Adam Schein joining us now. He said Josh Allen was going to be great before he was. He said the Bills were going to be a playoff team before they were. And here we are, lo and behold, a year and a half later, and Adam Schein deserves to have a grin from ear to ear because he was right on all fronts. Adam, how are you doing?
Oh man, after an introduction like that, I was great anyway, but now I'm even better. I'm fired up and I'm thrilled to be on with you guys.
Adam, I know you and I have been friends for a while. We were co-workers at CBS Sports. I've been on Time to Shine. I've been on Shine on Sports, and I've read your stuff on NFL.com. But I got to tell you, you are no longer my favorite Shine. That honor now goes to Theo, your son. Big Bills fan. His mom, your wife, is a huge Baltimore fan. His grandpa's a Baltimore fan. And when the Bills win, he rubs it in their face.
With a Fudgy the Whale cake.
A Fudgy the
Yeah. I mean, it really doesn't get any better. You know, we've always had a tradition in the house, and I love it. You got the picture right there. You know, we like to get ice cream or cake on Sundays for football. And so he wanted to get a Carvel cake. I mean, we got a great Carvel right near us. And he said, on the Fudgy the Whale cake, I want to write, "Go Bills, take that, mommy." I mean, it wasn't just enough to get "Go Bills." I mean, it was awesome. And, you know, being fair, My wife had a great sense of humor about it. She loves how much the kids are into football, how much Theo's into the Buffalo Bills. And so we had this cake, and we surprised my wife with it. And she loved it, had a great sense of humor right after the first game. And this was obviously right after, the Green Bay and the Rams game. So we're sitting down, getting ready to watch the Bills and the Ravens. And my son Theo is very into the Carrie Underwood song on Sunday nights, waiting all day for Sunday night. Great. He asked me, since the game's on NBC, is there going to be a special song? I said, I don't think so, buddy, but let's watch and find out. So he sees the Bills Mafia piece. And the piece ends, and he looks at me, and he's got his Josh Allen jersey on. He says, Dad, am I in Bills Mafia? And I said, yes, son, you're officially in Bills Mafia. So it was I couldn't believe he said that. This after I jumped through the table, I was like, wow, yes, you're a Bills fan. You're rubbing it in everyone's face. You're taunting your mother. You're officially in Bills Mafia.
Oh no, that that is
absolutely.
full-blown initiation. He is in. Like
Good for
that
him.
is the equivalent of the blood oath, as far as I'm concerned. When you bust out a Fudgy the whale cake and use it as trash talk in your own household, that's something else.
He was also a big fan of you when you jumped through the table as well. I loved it. It was great. Good on you for that. And it was just an absolute trip to see it all.
Yeah, you did up your game here, we have to say. I mean, we have the footage here.
Year one, when I guaranteed that they were going to be the Cinderella team, look, I went basically through a table that was a cardboard box, and our senior producer, Allison Cohen, who Steve, she's fantastic. And our director, Jake Giddich, I was going to jump off of something in studio. They're like, Adam, you're going to hurt yourself. We can't let you do that. Yeah. So this year I'm like, all right, fine. I'll get a real table. And then it's funny. My wife was watching the Bills Mafia piece, and she looked at me. She goes, if the Bills win the Super Bowl, you're going to have to jump through a real table. You're going to have to keep going to the next level.
You
next
up
time
your game.
So I said, sure. If in fact, I'm telling you guys, the Bills win the Super Bowl, I will jump through one of those tables that Josh Allen said that I jumped off of. I'll jump through it after the Bills win a Super Bowl.
Okay, so you heard it here first.
All right,
January 21st, 2:10 p.m., Adam Schein has laid it down. Now, you don't want to do it exactly how Josh has suggested it, because he was saying he wants to light his on fire. So don't go that far, because I know the liability insurance isn't that good at CBS. So, the regular table is more than enough, Adam. You'll be good there with everybody on that.
Enough of all this. What do you think about the game? Chiefs, Bills, in Arrowhead, late in the year, 17,000 people. Josh Allen and the Bills and their passing attack built a lot like the Chiefs are. What kind of matchup? What do you think?
Steve, I got to tell you, I love what Josh said at his press conference yesterday when he talked about going against Patrick Mahomes. I always find it just disingenuous when quarterbacks say, well, I'm only playing against the opposition's defense. No, you're playing against Patrick Mahomes. You have to do what you do, but be able to outscore them. And I think that the Buffalo Bills are capable. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think both quarterbacks are going to be fabulous. I think Josh Allen has become a star. I think by a smidge, Allen had a better season than Patrick Mahomes this year. I think this connection with Allen and Diggs is remarkable. Leader for Stephon Diggs, all regular season, postseason targets and receptions and yards. And I don't think Kansas City, even though their defense to me is underrated, Chris Jones is a stud, Honey Badger's a stud. I don't think you can stop this kind of combo. My trust level in Brian Daboll's through the roof and Sean McDermott's through the roof. I could see some of the role players at the receiver position stepping up, and that's been a big key all year. A little concerned about Gabe Davis and his health. You guys would know a little bit better than I would. But I think this is going to be a classic, and I have Buffalo winning 35-31.
We like the sound of that, obviously. As unstoppable as Stephon Diggs has been, I mean, people pretty much say he's unguardable, and his numbers would bear that out. Travis Kelce is kind of in the same boat. He finished right behind him in receiving yards, and oh, by the way, he plays a tight end position. Essentially, he's a wide receiver the way he plays. But with these two unguardable guys in the game, Do you think it's more a matter of which one of those shines brightest in this one? Or, to your previous point, do you think there is a role player that probably makes a difference in the game, a la a Taron Johnson last week?
I think it's more about the role players, Chris, because I think at the end of the day, I expect Kelce to dominate. And that's not a disrespect to the Buffalo Bills defense, but, I think Kelce and Diggs going to have similar stat lines and also a similar feel when you watch it. I mean, I think Kelce's going to have 8 catches and 120 yards and score a touchdown. I think if I said anything else, it would be disingenuous. I'll tell you, Poyer is a guy who I voted for first-team All-Pro at the safety position. I could see him making a big play on defense. I'd like to see a little bit more Devin Singletary. I love the game plan against Baltimore. And maybe it's not even so much, guys, in terms of carries as much as it is overall touches. I know Josh tried to hit him a couple times in the Baltimore game. I think Singletary can be a bit of an unsung hero. McKenzie could be utilized in that kind of role as well. I think the stars on both sides are going to come to play in this one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't think the Buffalo Bills, as well coached as they are, I don't think you could stop Travis Kelce. I don't think anyone could stop Travis Kelce.
We saw the Chiefs emerge onto the scene, and Pat Mahomes' first year as a starter, he's the league MVP. His second year as a starter, he's the Super Bowl MVP. And, of course, he's in the conversation once again. They're the 1 seed in the conference, 3 straight AFC Championship games. And you could kind of see that if you remember back 3 years when they got put out of the AFC Championship by Tom Brady and Belichick and those guys. They've been there for 3 years. And you still had a sense, even back then, that this was a team with Mahomes that was going to be good for a while. In Buffalo, there's kind of that same vibe. And even today, we just got, word today that, Brandon Beane is the executive of the year. Brian Dable is the assistant coach of the year in the National Football League. This seems to be an organization where this kind of level of success during the regular season is going to be kind of expected, and it seems to be replicatable. What do you think about Brandon Beane and the job they've done?
I think you're 100% right. And listen, I have a vote for the Associated Press Awards, and I voted Brian Daboll the assistant coach of the year. I think he is superb. I think the culture that Coach McDermott has established is amazing. Brandon Beane is smart. He's aggressive. See, I always go back when I look at Brandon Beane a couple off seasons ago and what they did with Beasley and Brown, where, they weren't necessarily national headlines, but that's what a young quarterback needed. And they were proven veterans. And then you make the monster trade for Stephon Diggs, and they drafted well. They signed the right veterans, receiver, defensive line, front seven. We've seen that. I mean, look, it's so tough in the NFL to predict year to year, right? It's built for competitive balance. I mean, I think what the Patriots did will never be duplicated again. Is Deshaun Watson going to get traded in the AFC East? There's so many things you just don't know, but I think the Bills have the right people in place. That's always been my favorite part of this group. Beane's a genius. McDermott's brilliant. Love Frazier, love Daboll, and they have brilliantly surrounded their franchise quarterback, who's young and a star with incredible talent.
I know your time is short, Adam, so the last one from me is this. We hear all about the concussion protocol for Patrick Mahomes this week. It has overshadowed the toe injury that left him very hobbled at the end of that Cleveland game before he left, with the concussion stuff. So if his mobility is somewhat compromised, assuming he plays in the game, which I think we're all expecting at this point. But if his mobility is compromised, how much does that change the complexion of this game?
I think it's incredible. And let me say for the record, I agree with you. Like, you can't really predict how someone's going to come out of a concussion protocol, but I can pay attention to what Andy Reid is saying. And I think that Andy Reid thinks he'll eventually be cleared, and you see that in terms of the signs with practice. Guys, that toe is problematic, and you could tell he couldn't plant, he couldn't run like Patrick Mahomes. I mean, we're talking about, that level of superstar, best player in the NFL, best player in sports. I mean, that's what you expect from Patrick Mahomes. Think about Championship Sunday last year, the Tennessee game. I thought that run at the end of the first half was as significant as anything. So, there's a very realistic chance that, again, I thought Josh Allen had a better year than Mahomes this season, but Josh Allen could clearly be the most athletic quarterback on the field on Championship Sunday. Mahomes is a magician. I never put anything past him. He's capable of anything, but I am genuinely concerned here when you look at it from the Chiefs' perspective with that toe.
Adam, thanks, man. It's great talking to you, and give my best to your newest member of the Bills Mafia, Theo.
Yeah, absolutely. He is in like Flynn.
I'm telling you, it was the greatest moment. It was so cool in fatherhood. He's dad, and he's sports obsessed. He's my child after all. My girls who are older, they're into it as well, and they're obsessed with sports. When Theo asked, "Am I part of Bills Mafia?" It just doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. Enjoy Conference Championship weekend Sunday, Adam. Thanks for the time.
Can't wait, guys. Thanks.
All right, that's Adam Schein from Schein on Sports on Sirius XM Mad Dog Radio. All right, Steve, we wrap up this episode of One Bills Lite with our one burning question. We're all familiar with the star power in this game with the two quarterbacks, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs, Tre'Davious White, Tyrann Mathieu. But as we often see in the playoffs, it's the unknown player that often turns a game with a gigantic play. We witnessed it firsthand last week when Taron Johnson went 101 yards with an interception return for a touchdown, basically sealed the game for Buffalo. Chiefs had a similar, though not as monumental play from Chad Henne when it looked like he ran for a first down on a 3rd and 14, ruled short, then iced the game with a 4th and inches pass to Tyreek Hill. So, one burning question, Steve. What lesser-known player on Sunday makes a game-changing play for the Bills? Who's your pick?
I will say Levi Wallace.
Levi Wallace! Wow, that is an under-the-radar pick. Tell me why.
I think
he's going to get a lot of chances.
He's going to get opportunities, and I think in this defense with
wow,
the
that's a
Mahomes,
good pick.
I think Levi Wallace may get a pick or force a fumble or something like that. He'll get an opportunity to do something. I think he'll make the most of it.
Steve, that is tasty. I like it even better than mine.
What is
That's
yours?
a really good one. Levi Wallace. Yes. And he didn't even play against them the last time. They don't know anything about him. It's like it's mysterious.
We've seen it all year. You've seen Levi. You see him on TV all the time because they throw at him all the time because nobody's going at Tre'Davious. And he's for a guy, everybody cheers for him because he's a guy they tried to replace twice. He worked his way from undrafted rookie free agent onto the field in a starting capacity. Then they tried to replace him, couldn't get it done. With a former number one, couldn't get it done. Tried to replace him again with a veteran who had been all-pro, couldn't get it done. That's my call.
I like it. I don't know why I'm going this way, but there are certain little things that sometimes just flash in my head, just randomly, that don't make sense at the time. And this has happened to me since I'm like a kid, where I'll have like those deja vu moments. And, my dad and I will be driving in a car. I'll be like, there's going to be a restaurant coming up here. I'll name the restaurant, whatever. Like we've never been on this road before. I'll be like, there's a restaurant coming up about a mile from here that's going to be this. It's going to have red lights on the top. This, and sure enough, a mile later, there's the restaurant. It's been happening to me since I'm 10, 12 years old.
Really?
This is the flash that came in my mind, Bills related, okay? Patrick Mahomes, under duress, runs out of the pocket, okay? He's retreating, kind of like Joe Montana in the throw to the tight end, Dwight Clark. He's retreating in that fashion, except on this play, Tremaine Edmonds is after him, and he skies in the air to block a pass, and it sticks in both his gloves, and he makes an interception. Like, I don't know why. I don't know if that's going to have an impact on the outcome of the game on Sunday, but it flashed in my head, so I'm going with it. Tremaine Edmonds, interception in pursuit of a sack of Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes tries to throw the ball, and he snares it out of the air for an INT. I don't know why, but that flashed in my head.
Ronnie, If I had a hammer and chisel and a block of granite, I would carve it in. If you say it like that, I believe it.
We can all sign up for it.
I sign up.
Now watch it. I probably jinxed it, and it won't happen now. But that's what I saw in my mind, and I'm sticking to it.
All right.
And Tremaine is overdue for a play like that. I think we can agree on that.
Okay.
I mean, he's made a handful of good plays. Again, the leading tackler on the team this year in the regular season, but it sounds right to me. So I'm sticking with
Totally with
the main Savage on that one.
There you go.
All right. That'll do it for another episode of One Bills Lite, which you can find on any of your podcast platforms. Thanks for listening or watching on YouTube. And remember, when there isn't enough time for our Monday to Friday show, One Bills Live, there is always enough time for One Bills Lite. Enjoy Conference Championship weekend, everybody. For Steve Tasker, I'm Chris Brown. We'll see you next week.